What's going on, people? Your boy Deli here. Welcome to my really first episode for my podcast, Deli's Lifecast. I'm super excited today because finally here we are making it happening. That's so awesome. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the podcast. We're going to be talking about Deli's Lifecast. We're going to be talking about how everything started from the beginning until like today. Like it's been a year since I had the idea and here we go. I finally make it happen. Don't give up. Never give up, all right? Okay, let's do it.
Deli delicious. He's kind of suspicious. Where does his mind always go? The guests, they all shivered since they'd been delivered on Deli's Lifecast show. He dives into stories from glory to worries with a laugh and a thought to bestow. Now that he's rested and fully invested, he's ready to share what he knows.
So let's start with the first question. Why Deli's Lifecast? Why Deli's Lifecast? That one is super easy because my first name is Delivrance. So I go by Deli. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys. My full first name is Ma Delivrance. It's a super long first name. I remember when I was growing up, people wasn't able to pronounce very well my first name. My siblings started calling me Deli since I was a kid, and my mom too, and like everyone, even my friends. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys, Deli is not the only nickname I got. So if you don't know that, now you know. So since I was a kid, I've been going by Deli, DK, D, Del Rio, Delia. Yeah, I know it's a girl's name. Ghost. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna try to explain you all the nicknames, so you guys gonna be knowing me like a little bit better. You know what I mean? There is like a lot of story beyond those nicknames. Let's start with Delia first. So the second nickname I got when I was in second or third grade was Delia. Like every time at the beginning of the year, we were having like dance party like at school. Like we're gonna have lunch together. Usually like in my country where I'm from, that's what we do. I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, by the way. We had like a dance party and everyone was just sitting like around the table. Like we're gonna just hold the tables like in circle and everyone gonna just sit like around the tables. And we were like having lunch and shit. So there was a girl in my grade and she was like 2 years older than everyone in the class and she was like 30. So everyone like wanted to sit next to her, like talk to her. If you sit next to her and you're gonna be like, oh guys, I was sitting with that girl, you know, like just talking about it, you know? All right. So at the dance party, I was having my lunch. I remember I had like rice, eggs, I think chicken, fries, something like that. No chicken because I'm black. All right. I was just eating my tomatoes. What did I say? My tomatoes. And then she came to sit next to me. So I was like, what the heck is going on? You know, I remember my friends, they were like, oh, Deli, like trying to make fun of me and shit, you know. She was like, bonjour, Kahangu. Because like in my country, in school, we called each other by middle name or last name. And I was like, bonjour. So confused. I was like, why are you sitting next to me right now, dude? And she was sitting there. I couldn't eat anymore. I was like, oh, damn, I need that aura, you know? Like, so I was just like sitting there. I was trying to make like a conversation low. Like, well, I don't remember what we were talking about. After that, it was time to dance, you know? Time to move. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this. When I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I used to be a big fan of Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. I used to dance a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like for real, like go ask my little sister. So if you're watching this video, just type in a comment, all right? Type in a comment, like tell them. I used to be like really, really good. Dancing time, right? So like, all my friends, they were like, just go up there, go. I was like, all right, I got you guys. I don't remember what song it was. And I started like dancing, going crazy, like those like, hey, like, you know, those kind of stuff. My friends, they were like, beyond everyone, they're like, Deli, Deli, Deli. You know, like it sounds like Delia, Deli, And the girls were in front because like, all the girls were in front of everyone. Like, so they're going to be, a little bit closer to the podium and to be able to see everything. You know what I mean? When the guys, they were like singing Deli, Deli, And for the girls, for them, it was Delia because they didn't know my first name. They're like, oh, that's his first name. And they start like going crazy by singing my first name. Deli, yeah, And then he was like, I had that nickname for almost 2 years until like I transferred to another school. And the girl, the one I was telling you about, I'm not going to say her name because I still remember her name, of course. Damn, I'm going to be in trouble after this video. So she was like in front of everyone and she was like, like those girls, she was like the head of the gang, and plus she was older than everyone and taller, but she had that influence around her friends and stuff. So everyone started calling me Delia. And that was a Saturday. The next Monday, I came to class. Dude, everyone was just, oh, what's up, Delia? C'est comment, mon gars? Ça va? Ouais, ça va ou quoi? I was a kid. And Eve, my boy, came to me. He was like, Deli, did you see that? Everyone's calling you Delia, bro. That's so funny. I was like, yeah, I don't know what happened and everything. So I became popular in that school. At school, we had that game called Police et Voleur. That's basically means just like police officers and thieves. And so they're going to find someone who's going to choose who is the police officer, who is the thief. And then they chose me because I was popular that day. Like, dude, everyone knew me that day, dude. So I was like, okay, you're going to be a police officer. So I was a star. Like, you're going to be like a thief. So everyone didn't want to be a police officer. That was the game. Like, if you're a thief, you're going to have to run. If they tag you, they're going to put you in jail, like a prison. For the way to get out there, you need someone else from your camp to free you from the police officer's side. It was a fun game, and I was a thief that day. So everyone was happy. Like I chose all my friends to be thieves with me. So it was like just great. That's the story behind the leader's name. And then the next I had, it was Del Rio. It's when I was like 10, 11 years old, 11 or 12. I used to be a huge fan of WWE superstars. Like, yeah, a huge fan of WWE. My guy was Alberto Del Rio. I don't know if you know that guy. He was coming to the ring with a nice car. He was rich. I loved that guy. Like when I was a kid, he was Mexican speaking Spanish. Dude, I love this guy. And then because my first name was Deli, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start like calling myself Del Rio. And if you call me Deli, I'm going to be like, who's Deli? Like for real. I told everyone to call me Del Rio because of that guy. I don't watch that shit anymore. I don't even think about it. It's so fake. Yeah, that was Del Rio. DK, of course, because my first name is Deliverance and my last name is Calendar. So I go by TK sometimes and until today. So the problem was my relationship with my full name. That's obvious. I didn't like my Deliverance when I was a kid. So for me, it was like a girl's name. My Deliverance was like super long, and like in my country it was like a girl's name. I didn't want it. I was like, okay, I'm going to start just going by Deli. Told everyone, even people going to be like, your name is Deliverance. I'm going to be, no, my name is not my Deliverance. My name is Deli. That's it. So I didn't have a good relationship with my name until like I was in high school. I started loving my first name again until today. Especially like here in the United States, I know like there's only two or three people call me by my Deliverance, and I love it. Yeah. And every time when someone calls me my Deliverance, I'm like, ugh. That's nice. All right. So yeah, that's the story of Deli in Deli's Lifecast. Let's move to the second part. Why Lifecast? So obviously, I wanted to put everything in my podcast. Like I didn't want it to be just a podcast, Like I wanted to share my journey, to share what I love to do. Everything I like about me. You know what I mean? Like all the fun stories, fun stuff, all the fun vibes, like what I like to do, like my gym progress, fun moments, random experiences, like hiking videos, all the little stuff I like to do like daily. You know what I mean? So I was like, Lifecast sounds good because it's not going to be just a podcast channel. It's going to be about absolutely everything, That's how Deli's Lifecast started. Now let's talk about the idea of Deli's Lifecast. So everything started like last year by the end of spring 2024. Yeah, I was just starting my summer break. I was home in Fresno, living with my family. So the only thing I was doing on the weekends was just playing video games, watching movies, nothing exciting at all. So I was like, dude, you gotta do something to make my weekends like fun. So I started thinking hard about what I could do for fun. Let's be real, like my idea of fun, it's kind of different from most people. I'm not gonna lie, dude. So if you know me, you know. So then on a Friday night, I remember, I think it was a Friday night. I couldn't even sleep. Like I was like trying to think about what I'm going to start doing on the weekends, like even for fun. So that's exactly when I started like having an idea of streaming. The idea was I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to be playing my video games and I'm going to be streaming on Twitch because I had a friend who was doing the actually same thing. Burak, my boy from Turkey. Shout out my boy. I was watching him every day, like streaming on Twitch. I was like, damn, this is kind of fun. I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to do that too. So I had the idea about streaming on Twitch when I'm playing like a video game, like a FIFA 2K. No, like last year I wasn't playing 2K a lot. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just be streaming like on Twitch and, like people are going to be watching me playing video games. That was the idea. And then after like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, like same night, Friday night, I was like, I don't think so. Soccer here is not as big as in Africa or Europe, like in South America. You know what I mean? So no one's going to be interested. I was like, what about if I start like just playing with someone and we start talking about everything, like especially like school shit. Sorry, mom. We're going to be just talking about stuff like sports, school, like any kind of like a topic, just talking when we're like playing video games. People are going to be watching what exactly we're like playing. And then they're going to be listening to us. So that was my idea. I was like, oh, this sounds so great. Definitely, I'm going to have to do that. And then I was like, this is going to be like a podcast, What about if I don't play video games? And then I have another idea. I was like, oh, all right. What about if I don't just play video games, just start talking like a podcast video? You know what I mean? I was like, all right. I was like, okay, this is going to be a perfect match. It's going to be perfect idea. So I was down. I was like, okay, let's go on YouTube. Let's go watch videos and stuff. I went on YouTube, start watching videos, how to make like podcast videos, everything. And I realized I didn't have all the materials I needed to do the podcast. I didn't have like microphones, lights, cameras. So I had to buy all those kind of stuff. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend money. I was like, hell no, I'm not going to spend like a lot of money for that shit. Like, sorry, mom. So the idea was just to have fun. I wasn't planning to be Joe Rogan or something like that. So I kind of gave up. I was like, no, it's over. The podcast, it's over. I'm not going to do that. But the craziest thing here, it was like, I created like an Instagram account, TikTok account, YouTube channel already. So I had all of those stuff. And I told even my friends, like, I was like, okay, I'm about to do podcasts and stuff. But I gave up because I didn't want to buy those kind of stuff. I remember that same summer, in 2024, it was one of my friends' wedding, Brandon Moreno. Shout out Brandon. And I was sitting with Daniel DeVore, Chris Lee, Calvin, talking about the podcast. And Daniel was so excited. I was like, dude, I'm so excited to watch your podcast and stuff. Like, in my head, I was like, damn, dude, don't remind me of that shit. I moved on, man. On my face, I was smiling, but inside, I was like, damn, dude. I start like talking to him, telling him like the idea of my podcast and everything. Because my podcast, the way I was thinking, I was like, oh, it's not going to be just my podcast. It's going to be people's podcast. Like everyone's going to be coming on my podcast, talking about their shit. Sorry, mom. And I'm going to be coming in my podcast, my own podcast, talking about my shit. Sorry, mom. And yeah, it was going to be just for everyone, I was trying to explain to him like all the process, what I was trying to do, like the idea and everything. And then I remember driving back to Fresno. That was like the first time I drove almost 2 hours without music in my car. That was crazy because I was trying to think about, should I do it or not? It was tough. And then when I got back in Fresno, I bought the lights. That light's right here. I was like, oh, this is awesome, man. And then something came up, something personal. So I had to take a time for myself. So I quit social media for a little bit. And then I was Calvin's best man at his wedding. At Calvin's wedding, we're trying to talk about everything with other dudes over there. And then Jonathan come from nowhere and he just tells everyone about my podcast. And I was like, no, bro, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I wasn't excited anymore. at the same time wanted to do podcast. So when they told me about it, I came back home after 2 days or 3 days, something like that. I bought everything I needed, but I needed 3 cameras, but I only had one. And I was like, okay, this is the time to do the podcast. And then I was trying to make a list of people who are going to be on my podcast. You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start with my closest friends, like Joseph Avila, Jonathan Nichols, Jan, Bobo, Daniel, my housemate, my roommate. I was like, okay, those are the people I'm going to start doing my podcast with. And then the first one was my cousin, of course, Joseph Avila. So if you didn't know, I'm half Mexican, actually. My name is Santos Carlos. Shout out Joseph, wherever you are, buddy. Love you. He was like the first guy to do like my podcast. And then after that, I had Jonathan. So I was doing the Q&A session video. And after, we're going to do the podcast. And then something happened. I lost all the podcast videos. Yeah. And my friends, John, Jan, Bobo, they were like, just, you have to post what you have right now. So I stopped posting the Q&A session video. That's the story of the Q&A session video beside of the podcast, because I lost all the podcast video. And I record like 4 podcasts with like 4 different guests, and I lost all of it. So I started posting those Q&A session videos. At the same time, I'm trying to get another camera because when I lost those podcast videos and something happened, I had to find a new camera. Like that one was dead. Like it wasn't working at all anymore. So I was like, dude, you know what? I'm going to keep doing the Q&A session with people until I got another camera. You know what I mean? And then I started doing the Q&A video. I had so fun with some amazing people. Of course, other people, they were like, no, I don't want to do it. I was like, I don't blame you. No hard feeling at all, because it was the first time doing the podcast. I wasn't expecting people to be like, oh, Deli, I want to be on your podcast. You know, it was new. It was cool with me. I ended up having like more than 30 people in my Q&A session videos. So we had some great time filming. Like one of my favorite Q&A video was Santana's video. It was so funny. Like we were just laughing. Like it was really, really cool. And so I started working on a new fun concept called Roommate 911. What's Roommate 911? So it's an idea where 2 roommates go head to head and trying to prove who's better roommate than other, while like answering some crazy questions, like random questions. So we only got 1 episode so far. Probably I'm going to have to record another one this Saturday. Yeah, now you know the podcast. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you are. And now I'm about to go get some food. I'm starving. I gotta eat. And I'll see you in the next episode. Deli's out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Ooh.